Welcome, Patricia Noel Drain. I'm your teacher for this free workshop, and I love the name of this workshop. If not you, who? You'll understand as I go through this what I'm talking about, and I think you're going to feel a little bit of responsibility, actually. Now, for some of you, just this moment in time, whatever time we spend together, you're going to get exactly what you need because you came on here to hear something. You're going to get it. And for others who say, God, I really do want to change now. I've got to do something. I want to go deeper. I have a solution for you also. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But I thought maybe I'd go through how I personally really discovered, if not you, who. And that's the reason I named this, because it really did happen to me. So let's start with a story about how I found out the first time. So I was a school teacher and I taught for maybe 5 years. And then I stayed home with my children, raising our family for maybe, I'm going to say 14 years. I'm not quite sure. But we moved to Phoenix and I thought, hey, I'm going to go out and get a job. I can't be a teacher again. It doesn't pay enough. Okay, so I started to interview and I was rejected by everybody. I mean, not just a few, by everybody. And I thought, well, I can understand that. I have absolutely no skills. I mean, I've been home for 14 years. So what's that about? But here's what I did that's a little bit different than most people. I did the work. I don't know if this is going to be backwards because I don't know how to do that. But the work in this book, look at how thick it is. And I did the whole thing. It's by Richard Bowles, and it's called What Color is Your Parachute? It was written probably 50 years ago. I mean, it was one of the very first out about that. And I loved it, but I hated it. It was so hard to get through it. And I finally thought, I have got to simplify this. I'm finding out so much about myself. I'm finding I have skills I didn't even know I had. But I created something else. And I didn't really know it. I put it in my book, What Should I Be When I Grow Up? Now that I'm 40, 50, 60. And when I did that book, I thought, okay, I'm going to put what I discovered when I did the real soul searching, digging deep, figuring out what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And I had 7 ingredients. I'm going to share those with you. And the reason I'm going to share them is because what if some of these are what you want also? See, people go out, and this is my big aha. I went out and tried to fit into their little place that they wanted me. And then I thought, hey, don't you think it's kind of important to find out what you want to do? What you're going to do in your life? Yes. So here's what my first, if not you, who. I did the work and I got my ingredients and I went after what I wanted. Number 1, I wanted a professional atmosphere. Number 2, I wanted flexibility in my schedule. My kids had things I wanted to attend. I wanted unlimited income potential. It always bothered me to think that I would be giving 100% and this girl next to me would be giving 50, talking to her boyfriend. We'd make the same money. That's why I wanted unlimited income. Number 4, the opportunity to help people. That's always been my drive in life. Yours, I'm sure, too. I mean, when you're a teacher, you're helping and you're teaching all the time. And it's so funny because I'm still that today. Number 5, I want to use my communication skills. That's one of the things I found when I really drilled down and got all my things that I was good at. And communication came up to be one of the top. So I wanted to really get better at that and use them. Number 6, I wanted an environment that I could really feel productive. I bet I'm talking to a lot of you when I say that because I don't like it when I get through a day and I don't feel like I've even done anything. Sometimes you can be so productive that you kind of get yourself crazy, you know. Number 7, here's the big one. I wanted a location 15 minutes from my home. Is that funny or what? By the way, all of these are mine still today. And I have all of these today. But in that day, I started to, okay, I've got to go out. I've got to start, interviewing. This will be fun. But now I was different. See, now I was very focused. Now I really knew what I was after. I had my ingredients. So now I knew, okay, I need this, 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 and this. And I went to my very first place and I thought, it was called OM5. It was a place for a staffing company. And they were going to find a job for me. And I'm like, this is so cool. They're going to find me a job because I can't find one myself. So this is perfect. And this woman walks out and she's so big and tall and she was in a suit and she was so professional and I was so impressed. We go back to her desk. This is a true story. And I'm looking at her and staring at her, and she's interviewing me, and this is great. And she's looking through files because she might help me become a receptionist. Okay, well, that's fine. And finally, as I looked at her, I said, could I ever do what you do? And she said, no. And I said, oh, do you need a degree to do what you do? And she said, no. Well, what do you need to do what you do? Because this looks like so much fun. She put her glasses down. She put her pen down. She looked me right in the eye and she said, you need to be sharp. And I thought, I can be sharp. I can be sharp and come back tomorrow and be sharp. I remember telling my husband this whole story, and he said, do you not know that she was absolutely being rude to you? She was making fun of you? I said, oh, no, I didn't get that out of it. I have to figure out what the definition of sharp is. Okay, now I'm really on my track, aren't I? I'm very targeted. I'm very focused. And when you're clear about what you want, when you're focused on what you want, get out of your way. Get out of all of our way. Now I go into every staffing firm I can think of. I've listed, and I started going from one to the other. And so, reject. Walked into this place. It was called VSP. I thought, what do they all do? OM5 VSP. This is funny. But I interviewed there, and the guy said, I think, how do you know you can do this? I think you might be able to. And I said, well, see, it has 6 of my 7 ingredients, so I think I'll be really good at this. And he's like, what? He didn't care. I mean, all he cared about is, are you going to do something or not? Well, I became the top producer there probably within 6 months. Was it because I'm really good? Nope. It's because it had my ingredients. The only one it didn't have, I had to drive 45 minutes instead of my 15-minute, and now I just am in my home. So that's gone away also. It's really fun. But in the meantime, now once again, when you start down that path and that you have this clarity, it's amazing all the things that start happening. And that's why I keep coming back to, if not you, who? So I started my own after he told me that I wouldn't be able to do anything but be the top producer after 4 years. And I wanted to train. I wanted to teach. I wanted to use other skills. And no, you can't do that. Just go back in your room and be the top producer. And I remember thinking, okay, it's time to go. And I did, and stayed out for a year because you have a non-compete. And then I really started doing exactly what I love doing. And that's interviewing people and placing them in jobs that they could love, put their kids through school because I found them their career. I loved that part of that. But as I moved on, I kind of liked to do other things. And I noticed as I'm interviewing people, they were just like me, terrible at interviewing. I mean, terrible. And so I decided, well, now that I have some knowledge, I'll go ahead and create a book. Now, I have to tell you that I was very embarrassed with this book. Why? Because when I was growing up, I had nuns that taught me. And they were wonderful people, wonderful teachers. But sometimes they would say things, maybe like any teacher, any mother, any father, I don't know. But they would say things that would stay with you for years. And I remember one of the nuns saying, let me tell you something, you will never, ever be a writer, because I had just read my report. I was very proud of it. I think it was in the 7th grade. So please, whatever you do, don't write. Yeah. Does that stay with you? Oh, yeah, forever. And then all of a sudden, I'm out embarrassed with this, almost even afraid to even tell anybody that I wrote a book because I knew people would make fun of me. And they did. The people that were in my industry, they did. You mean you wrote a book? Look at how tiny it is. I know. I just wanted somebody to read it and get a job. And so all of a sudden, I get a call one day, and this guy says, I'm on the West Coast. I'm the biggest publisher on the West Coast, and I have your book in front of me. I said, how in the world did you get my book? I only sold it in my office. So I assumed maybe he came in, and he said, somebody went into your office, and they saw the book, and they bought it, and they brought it back to me. And I love this thing. I want to have this in every airport. I want to have this in a bunch of languages. What? That's right. He bought the rights to the book. It was Price, Stern, and Sloan out of California, and Putnam bought Price, Stern, and Sloan. So I became kind of a really big thing overnight. Now, you don't make a lot of money, by the way, doing it that way, but this book now is in, I believe, 12 languages. I mean, can you believe it? I'm helping so many people get a job and learn how to interview properly all around the world. Because here's another thing I got. If not you, who? Who else is going to write the book? Well, guess what? I had a general manager in my office literally come in, make fun of my book, look at it, say it's so stupid, it's so little, I can't believe it. I'm writing a book also, same thing, same topic, because we're in the same industry, of course. And she said, but you know what? Mine's going to be really thick. I'm thinking it's probably going to be 400 pages. Well, I think that's what the parachute book is. And I said, oh, really? I said, well, tell me about it. And she said, no, well, it's all up in my head. I have everything like a computer. Well, guess what? She has never written a book. She has, to this day, we're talking that was probably 30 years ago. So don't let those dream stealers take things away from you, because if not you, who? It's not going to be her. That's for sure. So let's go on, because I have 4 thought-provoking questions that I want to ask you. Okay, here's the first one. Are you willing, now that's the operative word, willing, to step into something new that might be uncomfortable? Now, if you don't think this was uncomfortable for me to write, oh my gosh, do you even say to somebody I'm writing a book when I had that going through my head, don't ever write anything? Oh my gosh, you're the worst writer. Well, I'm a teacher, and that's what this book was. I was just teaching people. This is when I started developing what I call the QLS theory. I made that up. This is what I know what to do. People say, what's your secret sauce? Which I hate that. What's your strong point? I hate that too. But you do have to know your strengths, because you can't play to your strengths until you know them. This is one of my strengths. I know how to ask really good probing questions. I know how to listen intensely to things you didn't even say. And I then know how to strategize with you so we can get what you want out of what we're talking about. So are you willing to step into something new that might be uncomfortable? Okay. If not you, who? Number 2, are you ready? Ready is the operative word, to make the money you deserve? Yeah, I can't tell you how many people would probably say, I don't know what I deserve. Right. I work with them. I was one. But I'll tell you, I did something at that point that was a real game changer for me, because I thought, I'm not making the money I deserve. Now, I'm not in my office anymore. I'm now out there as a speaker and a coach. And so I thought, I've got to do something differently, because I'm stuck. I'm just stuck at this point. I can make this much money, but I get there and I just can't make any more. It just doesn't work. And so that's when I developed the big ticket idea. And so I went to a seminar, and it was very small. It was up in Montana. There were only 21 people there. I thought, how am I going to introduce this big ticket? And I'm embarrassed about, remember, I got uncomfortable, but how am I going to do that with only 21 people? Well, I brought all the stuff, so I'm going to do it or not. Maybe I can practice. This will be good. And I held up my program and I said, this is my Grand Diamond program, and you can work with me for a full year, but it's $50,000 to work with me. I become your partner. I become your CEO. You could not possibly hire a CEO or a partner for $50,000. And I sold 4 of them that day. I was as shocked as probably you are listening to me. Holy moly, who has that kind of money? It's not about the money. It's about the value in what people see. But see, once again, if not me, who? I really stepped into that role, didn't I? I want you to also after today. Okay, here's the third question. Are you able to share your message with others for a profit? Now, I just talked to somebody yesterday. This is why this is so silly to me. You're probably thinking, what is she talking about? Am I able to share my message for a profit? Yeah. Well, this girl said to me, she's in business, by the way. She is a therapist, I believe. And I said something about her profit. And she says, Patricia, it's not about money. I mean, I'm here to help people. Well, if you're a philanthropist, that's great. If you have all the money that you need, that's fabulous. If not, you're a business, you need to profit. You need to make the income you can. And the more income you make, the more people you can help, period. And so I'm really, when I say something like that to somebody and they immediately come back with that, I know they're not ready in business to take that next step. They would never put a big ticket together and ever go out and even tell anybody that they did have this big ticket. Okay, here's number 4. Why are others making money doing exactly what you do? and they're making a lot more than you. I said that to myself. The reason I did put that question is because I really did. I started looking around and I'm like, okay, I definitely know more than her. And she's in the millions. I definitely am better than that because I have all this experience with the brick and mortar. It didn't matter. I was not making the money that they were making. But it is you kind of get a little angry because I kind of put some things together. You know that you want to help people. You know that you deserve to have the money that you want. You know that you're a good person. You know that you show up. You know that you're consistent. So if not you, who? But you have to step into that role. And so those 4 questions, I hope they help you. And I hope you wrote them down or re-listen to this to get them written down, because I call them living questions. I call them questions that you want to keep asking yourself until you finally get to a point where you go, okay, it's my turn to step it up here. And stepping it up, by the way, to me does not mean I'm going to be working 5 days a week and from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. I used to think that. I used to think you had to do that. No, you don't. And I'll be telling you about that program in just a minute. Okay, I'll tell you what is it. I feel right now, from some of you anyway, Patricia, I think I really got something out of today. Good. I'm glad you did, because I designed it for you to. I don't need really any more. Okay, that's fine. But for those of you that do, that I told you at the beginning that I would have a solution, because you're ready now and able and willing to step into what it is you're ready to do. Okay, I have a program for you, and it's called a Mastermind program. And now, if you listened to my last podcast, or if you looked at my email, if you're on my email list, I talked about masterminds that really bothered me. Why did they bother me? Because I joined them and I paid tons of money, and they were all a year. I joined 3 of them, and I just stayed in those masterminds and didn't get things out of it that I thought I was going to get, and it was so long and it was so expensive. So I decided, okay, I'll do my own mastermind. If not me, who? Same thing. So here's what I decided to do. I wanted a mastermind that it was very personal. It had a personal touch because we were online a lot with these other people. And I really wanted to have collaboration. See, I didn't get to have collaboration with the other people that were in the masterminds. We don't have to do this alone. You can joint venture with people that you know, and then they can introduce you to their group and you can introduce them to yours. I also wanted a lot of interaction. I like things where, like this is just me talking, and it's not as fun for me if I have people chatting with me the whole time and I'm calling on them and they're asking questions. But that's not what this one is about. And I also wanted a community of like-minded people that are after the same thing. So I'll tell you what the name of it is in just a minute. But here's what I decided that this program would be for. It's for you if you're ready to make the money you deserve. Now, that could be $1 million. Are you ready to do that? Is that important to you? Do you know what the figure is that you want? Is it 200? Is it 400? Is it 500? Who knows? The second person that this really is for, I designed it for you. If you're disappointed where you are in your life right now, that's probably for you. And I have been there many times. And that's when I joined masterminds. That's when I really got involved. And then if you see people that really are out there making it happen and they're not as good as you, just like I came back to that, it's your turn. I mean, you have to step it up. I don't care if it's this particular program, but you have to do something. Now, here are the people that this is not for. I found this to be very, very helpful when I was, creating all the things I create. You have to tell the people that you don't want to join the program, because I had many, many people that would join programs and it was not for them. They simply could not do what it was that I was telling them that they could get results doing. And I would give them all the tools, all the techniques, and they simply couldn't do it. Well, here's not for you if you don't have an idea about what you're doing. You're still at this phase. What should I be when I grow up? I can't take on people that don't know what they can be. Not on this particular course. And I'll tell you why, because I'll be telling you the name of it. But it's also not for somebody that has so many ideas they can't even think what it could be that they could put all their eggs in one basket. What is the horse they're going to choose to ride? They can't decide. They have so many ideas, multitaskers. this isn't for you. And it also isn't for you if you're uncomfortable talking about money. I can't tell you how many people are so uncomfortable. I know that for some of you, you're thinking, how's that possible? How's it possible that it would be that over the top with money? Well, I had a real problem with it. I'm raised Catholic, had a lot of guilt, had a lot of really bad thoughts about money, and they simply weren't true. But I had to do the work there to come out of it also. And I did. And I want you to also. So here's the name of the program. Are you ready? It's 6 weeks to your big ticket income. Yep, that's right. 6 weeks. It's specific, it's concrete, and I'm going to tell you what you'll walk away with, because this is what was missing in these masterminds. We weren't after the same goal. It wasn't cut to a very quick way. It was a year down the road. I mean, you can kind of get lost in whatever it is you want. But if you're looking for something to give yourself a raise, then you want to create a big ticket program. And by a big ticket, by the way, I don't mean $1 million program. I mean, it can be anywhere from 1,000 to 100,000 plus. I know people that are doing things at 20,000, 25,000, 50,000. The money doesn't matter. It's the value that they're getting from your information to get results for them. That's what it's about. So here's what I feel. I just kind of jotted these down before I got on. What I feel you're going to walk away with. You're going to have a clear picture of what your big ticket is, how you're going to sell it, and to whom. Who are you going to sell this to? Because if you're not talking to your ideal client, this was a really hard thing for me, nobody's going to buy. See, the people that aren't my ideal client, they already hung up. You're my ideal client. You're still on. You're still listening. But I decided that, boy, if you don't really figure that out, who that is, and talk to that person, you'll never make the money that you want and deserve to make. Here's the second thing I put down. This big ticket that you're going to create, you're going to be so proud to share it that you'll shout it from the rooftop. Sometimes we keep that very close because we're embarrassed. We don't want to sell, the whole thing. But here's the thing about that. Now you're going to say to your client, your ideal client, your avatar, now you can learn from me. I want to take you along with me because I know something that you don't know. And quite honestly, when I said this was a game changer for me, it's our responsibility. If you have a game changer that happens, please share that with somebody else. That's your responsibility. Here's the third thing I thought. You want to create a life, and we'll put a plan together on this. You want to create a lifestyle business around your big ticket. The last thing you want to do, unless you want to, is work all the time, 8 to 8, 8 to 9, 10. You get up in the middle of the night and work. I mean, if that's what you want, you can do that. That's just not what I want. And because here's the thing, here's my motto, number 4. I want to have us work less and make more so we can help more. That's what I want our motto to be. And then the last thing that I really believe in are quick results. If we don't have quick results, what the heck are we doing this business for? Oh, here's what we're doing next. We're going to be saying, Patricia, are you going to help me do the whole big ticket and you're just going to tell me how to do it? No, remember I told you my specialty is QLS. We strategize together to get what you want. There's going to be some people in this group that want to have major events. That's going to be their big ticket, and they'll have 4 a year and cost a lot of money, whatever. And there's going to be some of you that said, I would never want to do an event. I just want to maybe do workshops. Okay, have a bunch of workshops throughout the year that are bigger tickets because maybe they're a full day. Whatever it is for you, that's what we strategize about to make sure that it's one of those lifestyle businesses and lifestyle routines for you. Okay, if I'm speaking to you, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to go below and click the link and then go read all the details about this program and see if it's right for you. See if we're a good fit. I'm really anxious to get you started on this, especially if you read the details and you see what we're going to be doing to make sure you have the right price on your big ticket. What is your big ticket? What could it be? Yeah, because once you have the idea, you're going to be just absolutely fine. And I thought, should I end with something? And I thought, yeah, I do want to end with something. I have ended maybe every seminar I've ever done with this for years, and I've never found anything better. Now, it happens to be at the end of my Hire Me book that I wrote, I don't know, 30 years ago. And so if you have something better that really proves my point, please tell me about it, because I'm always looking for something new. But it's a parable that I put in the back of the Hire Me book. And it says, I wanted to read it right from the book. Once upon a time, there was a wise old man who lived at the top of a mountain. This wise old man meditated and shared valuable insights about life with people from a nearby village. One day, three teenagers decided to trick the wise old man. One of the boys said, "This old man thinks he knows everything. Well, I'll show him. I'm going to hold a bird behind my back, and I'm going to ask the old man if the bird is alive or dead. If he says it's alive, I'm going to crush it in my hand. If he says it's dead, I'm going to let it fly." With the plan set, the three boys climbed up to the top of the mountain. There they saw the wise old man meditating in very peaceful splendor. The boys walked over to the man, and the one boy asked, "Wise old man, what do I have in my hand?" Because the wise old man knew everything, he continued looking straight ahead, and he said, "Bird, my son." Now the boy winked, and he said to his two mates, "Hey, wise old man, is the bird alive or is it dead?" The wise old man turned, looked right in his eye, in the boy's eye, and said, "The answer's in your hands, my son." And that's why I like to tell this, because the answer is in your hands now. Whether you join my program or anybody else's program, the answer's in your hands. It has to be up to you, because if not you, who? Click the button below, and I'll see you in the program. It's Patricia Noel Drain.